Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another river crossing battle in Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. This is a grudge match between the Venetian Milanese alliance and the Empire of Nicaea. Not very endearing of one another historically, so I thought it would be a good matchup. We've also got some fog that's overlaid the river crossing as well, so it should make for some very cinematic gameplay, and it's also a tier 1 battle only, so you'll see some units that you don't normally see on the battlefield. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and without further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. You can tell a lot about a player by the way that they set up their army before the battle, and this is a very professionally set up force. Just look at them, all in a line, all perfectly set up. We've got the spears in front, we've got the archers behind, the pikes at the rear. This must be an extremely experienced player. And this is the Republic of Venice, commanded by myself, and I've got a lot of cheap units in the front lines here. I've got 8 units of the militia swordsmen. Now, the reason I put these militia swordsmen in the front lines, and by the way, we are the defenders in this battle, so the way that 1212 and Attila works for river crossings is one side gets more money, and that in turn means that they have to attack and the other players can defend who have less money. Because that way, if both players have the same amount of money, nobody really wants to make the move. So I think it was a good call for them to do that in Attila. But I've got, yes, 8 units of the militia swordsmen. Now, these are my throwaway units. They're 200 gold. They're very, very cheap. You can see that they can basically do no damage to enemy opponents. But they've got 30 missile block, which is pretty solid. So in shield wall, they should get another 20, I believe. So that's up to 50. So they could really soak up a lot of enemy archer fire. And hopefully the catapult as well. And then right behind that, I've got my holding infantry, the Lancieri of the early period. So I've got 6 units of them, all in a line here. And right behind that, I've got 6 units of the Anciri, which is an early period bow. And then the kind of the meat of my army is 6 units of the foot signori. And they're pretty solid. They've got really nice armor. You can see they have 65 armor and 40 missile blocks, so not as good. But look at that melee defense. So if I can get them into melee with the enemy swordsmen, they should do quite well. And there we go, I am putting them into shield wall as we speak. And right in the very back, because I want to protect them from archers and catapult fire till late game, I've got 4 units of the Lanzalong Spearmen, which are my tier 1 pikes for Venice. I've also got a catapult back here, and then we've got the Doge's bodyguard, or the Doge, as I have now found it's pronounced. The Doge's bodyguard. And then right on the flanks, I've got 3 units of Zaphones, or Zaphones. So 3 units on each flank, totaling 6. And that about rounds up this force. So very, very formidable force on this side of the river. Let's go ahead and take a look at my ally. The second army on the battlefield today is the Commune of Milan, commanded by Nubnath, and he's got all of his cavalry way away from the river crossing, protecting the general. He's got 5 units of the Signori of the early period, and look at this unit. I've never seen this unit before, but it's called Death Company. Look how awesome these guys look with the skull on their shields. They almost look like Hospitaller Knights that have just lost their job, so now they're like assassins by trade or something. But this is an awesome unit. I love how they all have dark steeds as well. Really, really awesome unit. I will look to bring them in the future if I do play as Milan. And then he does have the General's Bodyguard of the early period here, looking more like a Templar Knight. And the rest of his forces are way over here. He's got 6 units of the Anciri, same bows as I do. And then he's brought a lot of spears. He's got some company of the Carraccio, which is in reference to the Carraccio Standard, which is the big cross on a cart that the Crusaders brought into battle with them. And then he's got a ton of Lancieri here. You can see about 6 units of them. And then he has some militia spearmen as well. And look at these budget shields here. Looks like a 1960s table that was just cut into a shield. That's pretty funny, but they are militia spearmen, so I would expect that. And then he's also brought some militia swordsmen as well, about 6 units of them. And then he has 6 units of the foot signori. of the early period. He's got 3 here, and he's still setting up his force over on this flank, but he's actually putting his best units on the river first. So we'll see how that works out for him. And that is it for the 2 allied armies, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 2 enemies. The first enemy army on the battlefield today is the Empire of Nicaea, commanded by Hamdog CDXX, and I have to really give props to Hamdog CDXX's formation. I love when he joins in battles because his formation always makes it so easy for the army comps, putting all his men in nice blocks for us to take a look at, so thank you so much for that. I love the artwork here for the Empire of Nicaea too. Definitely one of the most colorful factions for artwork, I would say. Maybe not so much as the Electorate of Trier, though. They've got some really nice artwork as well. But in the front lines for Hamdog CDXX's force, he's got 8 units of the Scutatoi, which are a spear unit. So he's got them in blocks of 4 here. And then right behind that, he's got 4 units of the Contratoi, which is the Tier 1 pikemen for the Empire of Nicaea. And then for his more elite swords, he's got 4 units of the Scutatoi swordsmen. And the main bulk of his army is the Rus mercenaries. He actually has 8 units of these Rus mercenaries on the battlefield in 2 lines of 4. And then right at the back, he's got the Spathroi Guard, 3 units of them because they are capped to 3 units. And I always have to show you guys the epic the epic capes. I mean, their shields are nice as well. Don't get me wrong, but just the red capes. Just look at them against the poppies as well. That looks so nice. Love the Spathroi Guard. Really nice aesthetically, but in the battle, not really a very good unit, unfortunately. And for the archers, we've got 4 units of Mortatoi, or Muratatoi. And then he has 2 units of Gazmoloi as well, crossbows. And for his cavalry, I love this for Hamdog. His favorite faction in 1212 is the Cumans. So, of course, even when he plays another faction, he can't help but bring Cumans to the battlefield. So he's got 6 units of Cuman Royal Guards, and these guys look absolutely fantastic. Again, love the shields on the backs. Reminds me very much of the Sacra Francisca, I believe, in Total War Attila. But I love the huge lances with the circular shields. Very, very nice. And right at the back, he has a catapult with triple gold chevron upgrades. And way back in the trees over here is the Emperor's Bodyguard. And actually, it looks like they've slaughtered a couple of civilians here. How gruesome. So he's already got his sword wet. You can see the Emperor there with his... Oh, he's just covered in blood already, even before the battle's begun. But that is it for Hamdog CDXX's force, so let's go ahead and take a look at his ally. The final enemy army on the battlefield today is also the Empire of Nicaea, and this one is commanded by Joe Onnet. And he has brought 3 units of Varangian Guard to the battlefield. And this was extremely surprising for me in the battle because, as far as I was aware, the Varangian Guard were actually capped to 1 unit per army, but he has 3, so that is a terrifying sight to behold, seeing these Norman and English warriors on the battlefield fighting for the Empire of Nicaea. Luckily, they don't have much missile blocks, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on when the battle does begin. But he has 3 units of them. And then he's also brought some pikemen as well. He has 4 units of the Contratoi as well. And much of the same style of units brought to the battlefield as Hamdog. He's got 2 units of the Gazmoloi, or Gazmoi. I think I like the first pronunciation of that better. But he's also got 4 units of the Mortatoi as well. So 4 bows and 2 crossbows. Here is his pikes back here. He also has a very large cavalry force. He has 2 units of Turkoman horse archers, 1 on either flank. And then he also has, I believe, 4 units of Cataphractoi, which is a very good shock cavalry unit. And he did have kind of a commander-sub-commander thing going on here. He's got the Emperor's Bodyguard here in the center with a catapult. And then he's actually got the Heir's Bodyguard, which is really, really cool. So it's almost like the Prince is fighting over here with the Emperor. Very, very nice. So he's got a lot of cavalry on the battlefield, and then he's got a good mix of the Rus mercenaries, 6 units of them, and then 6 units of the Scutatoi swordsmen. And I believe that is everything for Joe's forces. Yeah, very, very intimidating. But that is it for the army comps, guys, so let's go ahead and start this battle. Alright guys, welcome to the battlefield, and as you can see, the onager from the Empire of Nicaea is just raining down on my militia swordsmen, but luckily the Doge doesn't really care that much. These units are expendable, and by the way they keep looking back, I think they know it. But I really liked the aspect of having fog for a river crossing battle. It was a little hectic during the battle, but it makes for some really cinematic shots here. Just look at the arrows starting to come down onto the militia swordsman here. We've got the catapult just shredding the shield wall of the militia swordsman. And actually over here as well, Joe on it really setting up his archers in a very good position to get some flanking fire on my units. But as I said, I am more than happy to allow these units to kind of get pelted, if only to save my pikemen and my elite foot signores for the end, and for them not to be rained down from. But here we go. I'm going to activate a few units of my cavalry here, because I see that his cavalry is a little farther away than his archers, so I'm going to try and maybe get some sneak attacks on him here. He does have a few units of the Rus mercenaries very close at hand, but I'm going to try and pin them down with one unit and then get after his archers with the other ones. You can see I'm going to, he is very aware of what's going on, and he is going to try and stop me with his 3 units. But again, pushing the 1 unit in to block them, and then I'm gonna try and sneak these 2 units around. You can see a small detachment of Rus mercenaries are getting into melee with my horsemen though. But there we go, yes, pushing right into his archers, which is excellent for me. A lot of them getting caught by the Rus mercenaries, though, just trying desperately not to allow me to get across the river. And yeah, the cataphractoi just wrecking my Zephones over here. They're not really good cavalry, but unfortunately, because this was a tier 1 only battle, these were the only units that I could bring. And they're medium melee cavs, so that's the only reason, guys. I know I say all the time that I only bring shock cavalry, but that's the only reason I have melee cavalry in this instance. But here we go. Joe, he's going to counter charge here at a very weak point in my militia swords. Even though they're in shield wall, yeah, ooh, good hit there by the cataphractoi. But luckily I had another unit of militia swordsmen there to plug the gap. And over here you can see that this unit is really getting peppered down, but he is using quite a bit of ammo. Let's go ahead and jump over to the other side here, where Hemdog CDXX is being a lot more reserved, I would say, pushing in 1 unit at a time. But wow, the Skutatoy swordsmen just getting absolutely obliterated before they even meet the lines of the foot signori. He does have his spears here set up in a defensive formation, though, which is really good, claiming the river crossing so that Nath can't do something like me and sneak some cavalry around and go after his archers. So very defensive. However, yes, losing 2 units of Skutatoy swordsmen here. So the Ansiri for Noob Nath just in a really good position at this point. And I think the Mortatoi, they should be able to fire at the Ansiri. Yes, they can, but Noob Nath is very aware of that, and he is pulling back his units. Let's go ahead and take a look at my side, where battle is already commencing. We've got the Rus mercenaries challenging my militia in melee. That is a battle that they will surely lose. And here we go. A little earlier than I intended, but I am going to have to commit my spears into the mix as well, because my militia swordsmen are just being shattered left and right. I'm a little late getting over here, which is annoying. I was taking a look at what Noob Nath was doing on the other side of the battle, and I did not notice them breaking that quickly. And here comes the Varangian Guard, so I'm really focusing down these Varangian Guard units. I do not want them to get into melee with many men left. Can see them charging forwards there. Yeah, not many of them falling from my archer fire. It's a little bit frustrating. I was really trying to stay away from Joe Onnit's archers as well. They seem to be doing really well against me. There we go. Starting to take a bit of their hit points down, but here we go. They're just charging right in. Hold, spearmen! And yeah, the Lanceri, they're pretty solid as a holding unit, but against the Varangian Guard, like, who can hold against that? I've got this unit over here as well. I think I do actually focus with these archers onto the backs of this Varangian guard, and then these archers on the backs of this Varangian guard. So yeah, you can see I'm getting some nice flanking shots on the Varangians at that point. But over here, I am markedly losing. My Ensiri are no match for the Mortadoi over here. They are just shredding my men. I was actually curious about that too, so... Missile block is 30, so not great. Armor 25. How are they? Missile block 30, armor 45. Yeah, so that's why they were lasting a little bit longer in the fight than my units. Yeah, they've got 2 kills so far, and they've lost like half of their unit. Let's go ahead and see what's going on over on this side of the battle. Okay, so it looks like we've got a lot of Cuman Royal Guard coming across the river here. Actually, let's just get a shot from atop this rock here. Want to put this onto full speed as well. Oh yes, the glorious Cumans moving forwards. And followed closely behind by some infantry. So very well done, Hamdog, moving his cavalry in and then following it up with some solid infantry. And let's see where he's going to try. Oh, he's going to try and push it through this gap here. Oh, well done to Hamdog. Where's the Death Company? We need the Death Company. They're way back there. They're not even a part of this fight, but here we go. Unfortunately for Hamdog, it looks like Nath was able to block or stop up this complete flank here with all 6 units of Cumans, and actually he's going to get a nice charge with the Lanceri into the flanks of the Cumans as well. And as this cavalry as Hamdog is trying to pull this cavalry out, they're going to be taking a lot of friendly fire from these archers. Not to mention all those that he is trying to pull out of melee will suffer casualties at the hands of the Lanceri here. But yeah, he's well got this under control. The only thing Hamdog can really do is hope to do a lot of damage to this cavalry with his archers. But for some reason, this Mortadoi here is obstructed, probably by the cavalry. And I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe a pathfinding issue, but his pikemen are getting caught up on this rock here. So they're making like this long line of pikemen. Kind of actually looks pretty cool, I guess. There we go. You can see some more Lanceri moving into position there for the Commune of Milan. Well done. Let's zip over to my side here. You can't even see the battle until you're pretty much right on top of it as well. But Joe doing really well over on this flank. I did get a nice charge onto the side of the Rus mercenaries here, but I was getting a little worried. I already had to commit my Lance-along spearmen, and I did not want to commit them this early on in the battle. But you can see that they're really helping me turn the tide in certain areas. Joe in tandem, he's pushing his Constantinople into the mix as well, which is breaking my militia swordsmen. I am trying to focus them down with my archers as best as I can. And I think he has taken out a few of my catapults as well. Yeah, I'm down to 2 catapults at this point. But Joe, he has a lot of infantry ready to move in. He's pushing up a fresh wave of Skutatoy swords here. And I don't know, I think I was a little overconfident here. I'm really lax in my defense. You can see that there's holes in my line. I've got my pikemen back. I'm still trying to save them for more towards the end game. But like, there we go. Yeah, I should have been pushing them in to save my men. Counter his pikes with my pikes. And now these spears have broken, which is going to allow the Varangian guard to push through behind my lines as well. So yeah, it was not going swimmingly over here. Luckily, I'm getting some nice kills on his pikes. There goes his Constantinople with triple silver chevrons. That's an expensive unit that only got 17 kills. So that is good to see. Let's go ahead and put this on slow motion for a second and see how Hamdog is faring. So he's pretty much gone all in over here. And Nath seems to be holding a lot better than I am. He's got his flanks covered with cavalry. He's got secondary lines ready to go if the first line breaks. So he's holding strong. Hamdog's trying to muscle his way through with a lot of the Skutatoy swords and the Rus mercenaries. And over here, I bet you his cavalry is just getting slaughtered. Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, it's a lot of Milanese as well, but... Yeah, it looks like he's pushing all of his pikemen over here to this flank to try and break through, which is a valid strategy because I think Okay, yeah, so his cavalry has moved closer, which is good. Where is this Death Company, though? I want to see this Death Company in action. Here they are. Have they gotten any kills? 7 kills. This is an absolutely amazing unit. Like, did somebody take, like, an Auric unit and then just put it into 12-12? Fantastic. If anybody knows, I could check this out myself, but if you know, put it down in the comments below if this is capped to 1 unit per army. Because if not, imagine having like 10 of these units of Death Company. How terrifying would that be on the battlefield? Anyways, a lot in reserve. Let's go ahead and take a look at my side here. Yes, so just in time to see there was a hole in Joe's lines here, so I was able to push a unit of cavalry out and then get a nice rear charge onto these Rus mercenaries here. Huge hit. It is going to affect his morale quite a bit. You can see them dropping a little bit from that charge, but again, the melee cav, not really that good. And here we go. Joe was going to go to get rid of my Zaphones, or my Zaphones, but he saw a better opening here. My right flank is completely open. I have not pushed anything in to defend my archers here. I had some cavalry nearby that I can use to plug the gap, but this is not looking good for me. I'm really being lax on defending this crossing. However, huge win for me over here. Just as my cavalry breaks, I managed to break 3 units, including the Varangian Guard and a unit of pikemen. It still has half health, and again, only 14 kills, so that's really, really good for me. But yeah, I'm doing much better on this left flank. I've got my Lanceri here holding strong, but this right flank, I'm just struggling to maintain order on this right flank. I believe I do actually have to send the Doge in very soon to stop them from flanking around. How are we looking over here now? I mean, Hamdog, he still has some pikemen left, which is good. He is committing some of his spears, so that's a little worrying. Most of his swords, I believe, have engaged in melee at this point. Yeah, and there we go. The Rus mercenaries breaking on the battlefield. Hold, Milanese. Hold your ground. This guy is awesome. He's like just 1v40ing. Like, the rest of the unit is holding back and shield wall, but he's like going in. There we go. Gets another kill. Well done. Well done. Actually, let me just confirm on this flank. Yeah, he's been held up here, so he is not getting through. A lot of Lanceri holding strong on that side. And yes, here we go. So my Doge actually engaged in melee at this point. Luckily, I did have my Lanzalong Spearmen close at hand, and I'm going to pull out this Foot Signori. I'm going to try and keep them fresh, because we've got this. The Cataphractoi are just getting wrecked on my pikemen. And with that, I'm going to move this other unit of pikemen to the other side in case they're needed. Big mistake by me because I did not notice that we've got 2 units of the Cataphractoi and the Heir's Bodyguard coming over to this flank. So there we go. I broke the Rus mercenaries and I pulled my Doge out. And that's when I noticed that this cavalry is set to come in. And I'm just going to try and form up my pikemen here. The reason I'm kind of letting this be open is because I don't want to lose my pikes to these archers. So Joe's really doing well at covering the right flank here, gaining a lot of territory very quickly to be able to push his cavalry through. And I basically let it happen. I just let it go unopposed. Same over here as well. Joe sneaking through the gap. I actually have to commit one of my units of archers just to make sure I stop them so my infantry can get there in time. And I'm frantically trying to fire down at them with my archers. I know I'm spending a lot of time on my side, but Nath is doing much better than I am against Hamdog. We've got a few more units of Cuman Royal Guards trying to push through the center, which they actually might be successful after that catapult charge. That was really good timing by Hamdog there. Yeah, and he should be able to actually break through. Yes, he's into the archers, so well done there by Hamdog. Following up that cavalry charge very well. And yes, unfortunately, I I saw this unit of Heir's bodyguard make it onto my side of the battlefield, and I thought that he actually went to hide in the trees, but Joe just went right to the other side of the battle and hit the militia swordsman from behind. So that was maybe my bad. You can see that I had my pikemen here facing the opposite direction. It's because I thought he was going to put his cavalry here and then wait until I forgot about them and then try and get some rear charges on my line. But as you can see, that did not happen. Over here, though, he does have a couple units of the cataphractoi who have forced my catapult crew off their catapult. And I have to be honest, I was desperately trying to keep a good defense up here with my pikemen. I'm just running them around the battlefield, trying to get them into a position to defend my archers. And the Doge is like the man of the hour. He is the hero of the battlefield, charging in there to protect the pikemen as they do form up. So he is really putting himself in harm's way. Actually, let's see if we can see where the Doge is. Where is the Doge? He's got that funny hat. I should be able to see him. I don't think he hasn't died. Let me just... oh, yeah, he's probably back here. Nice. Slaughtering the Nicaean cavalry. And yeah, Joe is going to pull back there. It's kind of driving me nuts, though. Where the heck is this guy? Oh, there he is. There he is. Right in the center. Yeah, he's definitely getting involved in this battle. And again, pulling my Doge away here behind behind my pikemen's lines. But then Joe just goes right for my archers, which is super annoying. He was definitely being a nuisance. You can see I've got another unit of pikemen desperately trying to defend. But yeah, there we go. Nice volley into the cataphractoi as they crest the hill. We've got the second unit coming over as well. You can see actually somebody just died on that hilltop there. But yes, I believe that my Doge is going to come back into melee once again. Oh, yes, with some point-blank shots into the cataphractoi there. My archers really holding their own in melee. And again, he is going to just pull his cavalry out of there. Much to my annoyance, but I think I do follow up with my Doge. Make sure that the breaking unit does not return. And I believe over here, I think this is the unit. Yeah, the Heir's bodyguard fighting all the militia swordsmen. Noob Nath finally trapped it so that it will not be able to escape. And where is the Death Company? Here they are. They've got 29 kills, and they've only lost 7 men. Very, very nice. Now over here, Hamdog is making a little bit of headway. You can see that he is breaking through on this right-hand side here. The Foot Signori finally having enough and leaving the battlefield. And there's only militia swords over here to stop this advance, so hopefully his pikemen will be able to best this unit of Foot Signori that's holding a bit of this right flank, and then he should be able to open it up for a couple of his archers, I guess, to come through. I thought he had some more cavalry. Well, he's got his general, but he probably doesn't want to send that in just yet. But the balance of power is pretty even. However, we do have more men. Joe did bring a quality force rather than quantity, so that's why the man count is so skewed to begin with. We actually have about 900 more men than they do, and we were defending, but that's mostly due to my militia sword spam. Let's go ahead and put this back onto regular speed. And actually, if you can see over there on the hilltop, that is, I believe, Joe's general, just overseeing the battle. And there we go, yes, so I finally fractured his right flank, and I'm pushing into his archers. This is kind of bad news for Joe at this point. His archers are now engaged in melee, and I do have a bit of reserves. You can see I've got a couple units of very healthy Foot Signori over here on this flank. They are fighting a unit of Varangian Guard, though, which is a little unnerving. However, I am focusing them down with my archers as best as possible. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if they were nerfed in in the latest patch, and that's why you can bring more than one, but I kind of liked them being like a one unit that you could bring. That was the max, but they were super OP, because that was pretty realistic. Let's actually watch a bit of them in melee, though, cutting down the foot signori with relative ease. This guy's actually fighting with an arrow in his shoulder. Probably doesn't even notice it in the heat of battle. But how are things looking for Joe? If we zoom out here, it is getting quite framey due to the amount of dead in this one area. But yeah, I've got my pikemen set up here. Ever so aware of the general, the Emperor's bodyguard here. He is going to make a charge, I believe, into my men. I'm going to counter with a very depleted unit of foot signori. Make sure I protect my pikemen. But yes, Joe actually forgot that he had 2 more units of Constantinople just kind of sitting there until a very late game. But over here, it looks like Nath has got this. I mean, he's got a bit of units in reserve, albeit they're quite depleted. But he does have a couple of units of militia swordsmen here holding. But did he bring any pikemen? He must have brought some pikemen, but maybe they were defeated already. But I think that's where Hamdog is really doing well, is with his Conservatoi, mixed with the Spathroi Guard as well. Let's actually see these guys fighting. There we go. So this is an instance where the Spathroi Guard would actually be really good, is when they're being reinforced by pikemen like this. Just look at the dead. There goes one of the units of Constantinople, and that's actually going to allow Noob Nath to flank around these final units that Hamdog has. And he's pretty much down to archers at this point. I'm not sure if his general is engaged in melee, though. Or is it still held back? Where's his general? Here's his general, actually getting his general completely behind enemy lines. Wow, incredible. And actually a couple of units broke from the battlefield and then rallied behind enemy lines. It looks like we've got Noob Nath's general. Are they going to charge into this? No. Oh, yes, they are, just at the last second. That is a disgusting charge. Actually breaks them immediately as well. And now it's pretty much general v general, but I was hoping this would be the Death Company coming in. But it's just the Signori coming in to save the general's bodyguard. And Hamdog pulling his general out of combat to charge the Signori. That's going to cost him a bit. He did lose quite a few of his general there, or his bodyguard. Let's see how Joe is faring on the other side. His catapult crew are absolute legends. The catapult crew is holding back my entire force, protecting this general. If any survive, they deserve half of the kingdom. And here I'm being a little cheeky because I'm pretty sure we have it at this point. So I actually, in retribution for all those rear charges on my lines, I'm actually trying to focus his general down, give him a nice fiery death. But Joe is going to charge his general into melee at this point. I'm going to push forward some of my swords as well. And the Doge just looks on. And here we go, the Conservatoi, the 2 fresh units moving into battle. But at this point, the army loss penalties have kicked in, and they are just wavering. And there we go, they broke without any kills, unfortunately. I felt bad for him, but he did forget them just back in the trees there. But yes, such a fun battle. I highly recommend that you guys do fogged for the river crossings. It really adds to the immersion, and it actually makes it very difficult for micromanagement as well, because you can barely see units on the battlefield. Like, you can only tell by their little logos there. But yeah, it makes for some very nice battles indeed. And Hamdog here, he just has his archers left. I believe that Nath is going to charge them with what he has. And Hamdog is going to counter-charge. Where's the Death Company? Are they doing some work? Oh, the Death Company's in melee here. Let's check this out before the battle ends. Look at these guys. That's so crazy. I can't believe I didn't know about this unit. They look absolutely amazing. Here, let's I want to see a couple kills from the Death Company here if possible. Here we go. This guy looks like he's closing in. He's eyed his target. Come on, man. Ooh, volley of arrows there. Here we go. Half-hearted attempt. Oh, there we go. There we go. Nice. Riding him down. He might actually get up, though. Very, very cool. I'll have to bring them if I ever do play as Milan. I wonder what the history is of that as well. I think I might look into that, but again, if you guys know, feel free to leave in the comments below what exactly the Death Company was. Or what purpose they served to the Commune of Milan. There we go. I think my battle has completely wrapped up on this side. Yes, it has. I'm just riding down the retreating forces. And Hamdog's crossbows just getting a few more kills. They actually did really well, 254 so far. But there we go, they are starting to waver, and that will be the end of the battle. So it will be an Italian victory. A Pyrrhic victory, nonetheless, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the results. So yeah, we deployed quite a few forces there, over 8,000. You can see Joe had a little less just because he had a smaller force. But, yeah, so good kills on my Lancieri, my pikemen. I mean, a couple did okay. Militia swords, they were basically fodder, so that's why they have no kills. But yeah, my foot signori did all of the heavy lifting, most of them getting over 100 kills. And my archers not doing really well. Joe's archers were the ones that took them down. And my cavalry was pretty much garbage, but 118 kills with my catapult. Looking at Nas Force. His militia spearmen, not so good, but they're pretty much fodder as well. Lancieri, pretty solid. This company of the Carraccio, actually, 119 kills. Very nice. Where's the Death Company, actually? Is this them? 51 kills. That's pretty good. Some good kills with his Signori. And doing well with his archers. And his foot Signori also doing quite well. Oh, and 58 to 54. So my general so far is the winner for the kills. He is the general of the hour. Look at the Varangian Guard. Even though I focused them down, still 127 99 kills. Usually they're much higher. I remember getting over 400 kills with a Varangian Guard unit at one time. But that was before you could bring 3. So as I said, I don't know if they've been nerfed or not. Pikemen were neutralized well early on, which is good for me. Rus Mercenaries, a mixed bag. Some doing well, some not. The Scutitoi swords, though, not really performing as well as hoped. Especially with the silver chevron upgrades. It's a lot of money for not much gain. Crossbow's doing excellent, though, and his cavalry just wrecked my cavalry. And 206 kills with his catapult. And, oh yes, a 1 and 0 with Hamdog's general, so the Doge really throwing himself in. It's funny that Hamdog's general, he killed those civilians early on, but that's kind of cowardly kills, so I guess it doesn't count. His spear is doing all right. His pikemen, not really. Rus Mercenaries, not really. Scutitoi, not really. Spathroid Guard, 138. Not bad. 94. Archer's pretty solid. Excellent with his crossbows. And 165 there, and 289 with his catapult, so well done. So thanks so much to my ally and my enemies for partaking in the battle, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this river crossing. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, and as always, I will see you in the next one.